The 2017 PV Mavericks season ended suddenly and unceremoniously in defeat at the hands of the Pasadena Trojans. The semifinal playoff loss was the Mavericks' second loss of the season to the Trojans, the first game of which was played in Pasadena in a sweltering 103-degree heat. Clearly, the Mavericks were not ready for the heat or the Trojans, losing the game 31-6, as many players succumbed to the uncharacteristic heat. The Mavericks sidelines looked like a mass unit of hurt, injured, and tired players. There was steam literally coming off of their cleats. The 2018 season would begin with deep introspection. Head coach Charles Jones got to work on the 2018 season almost immediately after the team's disappointing playoff loss by placing calls to his coaching confidants and mentors. After several candid conversations with his coaching tribunal, Coach Jones set out to retool the Mavericks into a championship contender. The Mavericks' 2017 offense led the league in yards and points scored, but its defense was among the worst, allowing 164 points. The 2018 Mavericks would, if nothing else, be a defensive-minded ball club. He would begin by realigning his coaching staff, assigning Coach Hughes and Peterson as defensive coordinators. Coaches Bob and Bose would be responsible for line play, and Bose and Peterson would manage special teams, and Coach Jones would exclusively call the offensive plays. Coach Dre Johnson served as equipment manager. But first, Coach Jones would get to work refocusing his starting QB, Niko Adorich, who took a physical beating the final game of the season. The Mavericks started preseason conditioning with beach workouts with Coach Traco Rashal and field workouts led by Coach Jones and Coach Peterson. The grueling workouts were designed to prepare the players mentally and physically for the upcoming season. Notably absent from the summer workouts was the Mavericks' starting QB, Niko Adorich, who was visiting relatives in Croatia for 5 weeks. This was of grave concern to Coach Jones, who had developed a pass offense built around his quarterback. While Niko was having fun in the sun and enjoying Croatia's World Cup run, his teammates were sweating it out back in Southern California. The Mavericks had a total of 8 new faces heading into training camp. 5 players joined as free agents, and 3 players transferred from other cities. After a Week 1 bye, the Mavericks finally opened their season against Westside. The game in 2017 was chippy and included multiple skirmishes. The Mavericks led 12-7 at halftime, only to give up 27 unanswered points in a 34-12 drubbing. Needless to say, the September 8th matchup was circled on the Mavericks' schedule. Moments into the second quarter, Westside jumped out to a 6-0 lead after a bad snap by PV deep in their territory led to a Westside defensive touchdown. The extra point was good, and Westside led 7-0 with 9:59 remaining in the second quarter. Halfback Spencer Horton kicked off his special day with a 32-yard run, followed by a 36-yard pass reception to jumpstart the Mavericks' rally. Devin Jones finished the drive with a 9-yard touchdown run. And under the guidance of coordinators Ryan Peterson and Eric Hughes, the PV Mavericks defense would meet its first challenge. A block punt by PV was scooped up by Matthew Dragic, who returned it for a touchdown. Palos Verdes added to its lead when Spencer Horton scored with 2 minutes left in the third on a sensational 58-yard punt return for a touchdown. With only seconds remaining in the third quarter, Niko Adoric threw a screen pass to Spencer Horton, who took off for a 34-yard touchdown reception. The Mavericks defense capped off its stingy first outing with an interception by Dre Johnson.
Question for you. What are those?
In week 3 of the season, the Mavericks defense forced a fumble on the Bears' opening possession, which was recovered by Matthew Walker. And Spencer Horton got things rolling with a 1-yard touchdown run. Then Devin Jones added on another TD with a 25-yard rushing touchdown. Aiden Hodge had a monster sack on the Watts QB, causing a fumble, which was picked up by Brandon Hama, who ran it in for a 15-yard touchdown, putting the Mavericks up 22-0 at halftime. Devin Jones's 22-yard TD run put the Mavericks ahead 28-0 with 7:36 remaining in the third quarter. Again, the Mavericks defense held the Bears to a 3-and-out. After stopping the Mavericks on a 3-and-out of its own, the Bears responded on their next possession with a 23-yard punt return for a touchdown. Spencer Horton scored on a 40-yard pass reception for the final touchdown of the game, as the Mavericks cruised to a 34-6 victory. In week 4 of the season, the Mavericks squared off against a young and very inexperienced El Segundo team. From the kickoff, the game was never in doubt, but that didn't mean it wouldn't be without drama. 2 of the Mavericks' new players, Martin Johnson and Dre Johnson, previously played in El Segundo, and they were amped up to play against the Eagles. El Segundo couldn't move the ball against the Mavericks' defense. After an El Segundo 3-and-out, the Mavericks needed only 2 plays for Adoric to hit Spencer Horton, his big play target, on a screen pass. Spencer turned and posted 68 yards for a touchdown and a 6-0 Mavericks lead. On its next possession, an El Segundo fumble was scooped up at the 34-yard line by Niji Williams, who scampered in for the touchdown, giving the Mavericks a 12-0 lead. El Segundo went 3-and-out and was pinned deep in their own territory. On their next possession, the Mavs' Dre Johnson got in on the action with a 30-yard touchdown against his old team, pushing the Mavericks' lead to 18. Again pinned deep on its own 2-yard line, El Segundo kicked a 1-yard punt, leading to a 3-yard touchdown pass to Matthew Dragic and a 24-0 Mavericks lead. After a 3-yard touchdown pass to Stephen Manji in the third quarter, the Mavericks led 30-0. The game was so lopsided that PV did everything it could to avoid running up the score, including giving the ball back to El Segundo after a safety in the fourth quarter. The final score 32-0, and the Mavericks notched their first shutout of the season.
Shut up!
Rumors about the Mavericks squad had begun to spread around the league, and the Mavericks were quickly becoming the team to beat in the SEC South. This was evident before the Torrance game at Peninsula High School. As the Mavericks team made its way to the field for its pregame warm-ups, a few of the Torrance players, notably their top skill player, number 10, had more than a few brash things to say about the upcoming game. The Mavericks would respond on the field with actions, not words. The defense held Torrance scoreless for the first two quarters, and then with 4:25 remaining in the second quarter, the offense started their onslaught when Spencer Horton ran for a 45-yard touchdown to put the Mavericks up 8-0. On its next possession, PV, running its double-wing offense, pitched the ball to Stephen Manji, who took off for a 52-yard touchdown, giving the Mavs a 16-0 lead.
Palos Verdes Mavericks.
The football IQ and leadership of Mavericks linebacker Niji Williams was evident on this play as he moves the Mavs defensive tackle into position for the play. The trash talk came to an end early in the second half on a 38-yard pass play to Horton that put the Mavs at first and goal at the 5-yard line. The Mavs finished the drive with a 5-yard TD to Matthew Dragic, pushing the lead to 22 points with 8:58 left in the third quarter. The Mavericks offense sputtered on its first and second possessions of the second half, with both drives ending with a Dorich interceptions. The Torrance Panthers used the miscues to get some momentum on offense. With the help of 50 yards of defensive penalties, the Panthers were finally in the red zone, where they used some razzle-dazzle against the Mavericks, scoring on a 5-yard pass, better known as the Philly Special. The score was 22-8 with 18 seconds left in the third quarter. The Mavericks responded quickly with a 48-yard touchdown run by Spencer Horton, followed by a 36-yard fumble recovery and touchdown by Horton on the Panthers' next possession. Just like that, the Mavericks were up 34-8. The Mavericks capped off the game with a 32-yard pick-six interception by Devin Jones. Final score, PV 40, Torrance 8. Despite the lopsided game, the Mavericks didn't come out unscathed, as starting linebacker Kenny the Hitman McCreary was lost with a broken leg as a Torrance player was tackled into him. This meant that Jeremy Bowes would be thrust into full-time duty at linebacker.
I got your back. You got my back. We get into a fight. I don't care if it's 40 and it's just the two of us. We don't go, me and you, we going down together. Covenant. We do not retreat. We do not give up. We do not surrender. And the reason why most of you are not successful is because every single time stuff not going your way, you give up, you quit, you let go, and people feel weakness. They feel it. You can feel when somebody's not committed, when they're not all in, when they're not dedicated. And there's another level you get to when you go all in.
You got a big mouth.
In the final game of the regular season, the 4-0 PV Mavericks faced off against the 5-0 Redondo Beach Seahawks. The Redondo Beach squad lost to the Mavericks in the Spring Passing League, and after acquiring a heralded running back prior to the start of the season, the Redondo Beach Seahawks began squawking that they wanted a piece of the Mavericks and intended to beat them badly. The Mavericks knew this was likely going to be their toughest remaining challenge before SEC playoffs would begin in October. The Mavericks had coasted against most of their Southern California opponents, but found themselves in a dogfight against Redondo. The Seahawks opened the game with a 14-play, 65-yard touchdown drive that lasted 6 minutes, 35 seconds. This was the first touchdown on an opening drive that the Mavs allowed all season.
The kick is good. JV Mavericks 0. Mavericks set to receive.
In the second quarter, after a 15-yard pass to Dre Johnson, QB Nico Adorich connected with Spencer Horton on a 5-yard touchdown pass. On the next Seahawk possession, Matthew Dragic grabbed an interception, returning it for 27 yards. The Mavericks went into halftime tied 8-8 with the Seahawks.
Half still to come. Tie score. Redondo Beach Seahawks 8.
On the second play of the second half, Spencer Horton ran for a 76-yard touchdown, giving the Mavs a 6-point lead.
Redondo Beach Seahawks 8. Your JV Mavericks.
Redondo responded with an 11-yard TD pass with 58 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
Pass is completed to Reese Leonard. The Seahawks 14.
16 seconds later, Spencer Horton dashed for 63 yards and a touchdown, giving the Mavericks the lead for good. Horton finished with 3 TDs on the day, rushing for 157 yards on 5 carries.
The signal is touchdown.
Devin Jones added a 2-yard touchdown run with 7 minutes remaining in the fourth as the Mavs pulled away from Redondo Beach for a 26-14 victory that extended the team's winning streak and gave the Mavericks sole possession of first place in the SEC North Division.
This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. That's the great thing about sports. You play to win. And I don't care if you don't have any wins. You go play to win. When you start telling me it doesn't matter, then retire. Get out. Because it matters.
The playoffs opened for the Mavericks with a Week 1 rematch against the Westside Vikings. Westside never threatened the Mavs' defense, which was dominant from the opening kickoff, but the Mavs let the Vikings hang around early. After a slow start, the Mavericks got their offense rolling behind a 38-yard touchdown run by Spencer Horton and the passing of its strong-arm QB, Nico Adorich. He passed for 165 yards on the day, including 13 and 36-yard TD throws to Spencer Horton and a 19-yard TD pass to Devin Jones. He directed 2 first-half drives of 50-plus yards as the Mavs took control of the contest. Late in the third quarter, Westside returned a kickoff for 48 yards. Followed by a 26-yard pass completion that led to their only score on the day, a 2-yard rushing touchdown with 5:50 left in the game. The Mavericks offense closed out the game with a couple rushing plays. After the game, the Mavericks would learn that Stephen Monge, who left the game in the second quarter with a leg injury, was out for the season with a broken leg and torn ACL. Monge's injury was especially gut-wrenching, as he had started the season on the injured list in a cast with a badly sprained ankle. Yet he didn't miss a single practice all season long. In the week of practice leading up to the Pasadena semifinal game, PV starting center Parker King suffered a concussion at practice running scout offense versus the Mavericks defense. This meant that the Mavericks had to scramble to find a replacement days before the semifinal game. The Mavericks would split duty between Martin Johnson and Brandon Hama, who also started at defensive tackle. Fittingly, in the semifinal game, the PV Mavericks would face the Pasadena Trojans, the team that defeated the 2017 Mavericks twice. The Mavericks would have another opportunity for payback.
One of the biggest trash talkers on the Mavs this season was our quarterback Nico. This drove the defensive players crazy because there was a rule that we were allowed to hit the quarterback. In response to the season-long pink jersey treatment, the defense brings you the funky chicken.
If my great-great-grandchicken was here today, he'd say, "Are you ready to get funky?" And you all say, "Yes, let's boogie!" Feet shoulder-width apart. Step your foot like this. 2 steps on the same foot. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You got it, peeps. Now let's add the arms. You're going to bend them at the elbow like this. Come on, put your wings in the air and wave them like we just don't care. Flap those wings now. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Give me some good old chicken head now. Oh yeah, you got this.
The Trojans won the toss and elected to receive. On their opening drive, Pasadena went 3 and out. And on its first possession, the Mavs fumbled on Pasadena's 48-yard line. The game proved to be a defensive struggle, as both offenses found the going tough, with the teams going back and forth with 3 and out possessions. The Mavs' Spencer Horton broke free on a jet sweep and a 43-yard touchdown, only to have it called back on a penalty. Both the Mavericks' double wing and spread offenses struggled against the Trojans. The game remained tied 0-0 going into the fourth quarter. That's when the Mavericks found some rhythm on offense, running their run-pass option. The run-heavy offense seemed to catch the Trojans off guard. The Mavs moved Devin Jones to quarterback, and on the first play from scrimmage, Spencer Horton rushed for 15 yards. A face mask penalty gave the Mavs another first down. Devin Jones rushed for 19 yards, moving the Mavs into Trojan territory. But the drive stalled, and the Mavericks turned the ball over on downs. Again, the Mavericks' defense responded, forcing the Trojans to punt yet again. PV got the ball back on its 33-yard line, returning to its spread offense. PV gained 39 yards on a reverse to Spencer Horton, who was tripped up on a shoestring tackle. Mavericks QB Niko Adorich connected with Matthew Dragic for a 29-yard touchdown pass, giving the Mavericks a 6-0 fourth quarter lead. Because of celebration penalties after the TD, the Trojans' drive started in Mavs territory on its 41-yard line. On the Trojans' first play from scrimmage, Spencer Horton jumped a pass route, intercepting a pass, and returned it for a 59-yard touchdown, giving the Mavericks a 14-0 lead with 1:57 remaining in the game. As it had all season long, the Mavs defense stepped up and made a big play. The defensive unit had a stellar performance, holding the Trojans scoreless. Unfortunately, the Mavericks' semifinal victory was also marred by an injury to standout defensive tackle Aiden Hodge with a mere 26 seconds left in the game. Aiden suffered a concussion and neck sprain and was transported to Torrance Memorial Hospital via ambulance. The Mavericks dealt with significant injury problems throughout the season and never had its full complement of players healthy. And, as luck would have it, the championship game would be no different.
Day by day! Day by day! We get better and better! We get better and better! Till we can't be beat! Till we can't be beat! Won't be beat! Won't be beat! 1, 2, 3, Mavericks! Let's go, bro!
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Coach. Thanks, Coach. Follow me on DKL Idol. I'll have it for every meal of the day. Oh! Yeah, I got it. Thank you, Coach.
Hey, guys, stop. Hey, stop. All right, good. I want to see it. I'm holding you. Let's go. All right,
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Coach.
All right, Martin, I need some beast.
Everything that happened before is behind us. Learn and move forward. Got it? You got all the skills, buddy. All the skills. Need you.
The SEC championships would be held at Ventura College in Ventura, California, some 2 hours north of Palos Verdes, which meant a road trip and overnight stay for the team. The Bose family sponsored the team bus and lunch for the team as they made their way to Ventura.
Looking like I'm moving in. Got my foot in the door and we still here. I'm a first generation millionaire. I broke the curse of my family not having. I'm passionate. At the gate outside when they pull up, they give me loose. Yeah, jump out of boys, it's like you just got
be beat.
Well, you can tell everybody. Yeah, you can tell everybody. Go ahead and tell everybody. I'm the man. Well, you can tell everybody. Yeah, you can tell everybody. Go ahead and tell.
While the boys had a great time on the way to the game and at an organized team activity held at Golf and Stuff, better known as the location of Danielson's first date with Allie in the 1984 hit, The Karate Kid.
It is befitting that I leave the game just like I came in, beating a big, bad monster who knocks out everybody and no one can whoop him. That's when that little Cassius Clay from Louisville, Kentucky came up and stopped Sonny Liston, the man who annihilated Floyd Patterson twice. He was going to kill me. He hit harder than George. His reach was longer than George. He's a better boxer than George. And I'm better now than I was when you saw that 22-year-old undeveloped kid running from Sonny Liston. I'm experienced now, professional. Jaw's been broke, been lost, knocked down a couple times. Bad.
Well, you can tell everybody. Yeah, you can tell everybody. Go ahead and tell everybody. I'm the man. Well, you can tell everybody. Yeah, you can tell everybody. Go ahead and tell everybody. I'm the man.
Been chopping trees. I done something new for this fight. I I done wrestled with an alligator. That's right, I have wrestled with an alligator. I done tussled with a whale. I done handcuffed lightning, throw thunder in jail. That's bad. Only last week, I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean, I make medicine sick. Man, dude. Bad. Fast.
Well, you can tell everybody. Yeah, you can tell everybody. Go ahead and tell everybody. I'm the man.
Coach Jones made it abundantly clear that the trip to Ventura was not a vacation. It was a business trip. The team was there to play football and win a championship. Leave your swim trunks at home. We are going to take care of business. The number 1 ranked LA Valley Seahawks, 8-0, met the number 2 ranked junior varsity Palos Verdes Mavericks, 7-0, in the Southern California Conference Championship game on Saturday, November 3rd, 2018, at Ventura College in Ventura, California. The trash-talking LA Valley Seahawks, who had not lost a game in 2 years, came out swinging and punched the Mavericks square in the mouth to start the game. The Mavericks' opening possession went for negative 25 yards. And early in the second quarter, the Seahawks jumped out to a lead over the Mavericks on a 10-yard TD pass reception. The Mavericks blocked the extra point, leaving the score 6-0. The Mavs' Dre Johnson intercepted an LA Valley pass late in the second quarter, returning the ball 42 yards to the Seahawk 42-yard line. Three plays later, PV quarterback Niko Adorich threw a 33-yard touchdown pass to Matthew Dragic to tie the ballgame at 6 with only seconds remaining in the half. Matthew Dragic kicked the extra point to give the Mavericks an 8-6 halftime lead. PV's defense lived up to the reputation it had been building all season and stifled number 1 LA Valley throughout the third quarter, holding the Seahawks to 2 first downs. On its first possession of the second half, PV executed a methodical 52-yard drive, highlighted by a 24-yard run by Devin Jones and a 15-yard run by Spencer Horton, moving the ball to the 4-yard line. The drive was finished when Niko Adorich connected with wideout Matthew Dragic on a 3-yard slant for a touchdown. The extra point was no good, and PV led 14-6. The Mavericks finished the game with a strong defensive stand, with Jeremy Bowes and Sebastian Winkler tackling LA Valley for a loss on back-to-back plays. Spencer Horton intercepted an LA Valley pass and returned it to the 38-yard line. The loss for LA Valley was a shock to their team, coaches, and fans. The win was especially satisfying for PV, as the team had overcome an onslaught of injuries leading up to the championship matchup, and the team had to show its grit to overcome the trash-talking and physical LA Valley Ball Club, who resorted to cheap shots and Bush League antics when the outcome of the game was clear. A repeat of their actions in 2017, when its players punched the Mavs' Spencer Horton at the bottom of a pile on the last play of the game.
These boys are, yeah, let's go,
Yo, what's up? It's the 12th man here. Congratulations to the 2018 Junior Varsity Palos Verdes Mavericks, baby. All year, they played like champs. They kept their head on the swivel, baby, head on the swivel. They went out there and ate every Saturday. Y'all know the motto, let's eat. And they did that. Congratulations again. It's the 12th man, baby.
Hi guys, I know Ashley for the past 3 years. She took me to a game last season and I fell in love with football. And part of me falling in love with football is because you guys are such a great team. You guys put such a hard work. And I'm so proud that you guys let me be part of the Mavericks family. I'm proud of all the hard work that coaches and players put into the game. And I'm glad that you guys win. I'm proud that you guys win. And I hope to see you guys play in high school.
Yeah, and football has been a part of my life for about 5 years now. And my dad has been coaching for 2 seasons, and it's been so amazing to see you guys play. And every time you guys go on that field, I get so excited. And having my best friend there with me to share that excitement is something that I have never experienced before. And it's been so fun watching you guys on that field and see you guys get excited before every game and after every game, and we went undefeated the whole time. Oh my gosh, it's been such a great season, you guys. Thank you so much for putting all your hard work into it and all your effort, and thank you coaches for coaching and being really good with the kids, and thank you parents for being there. And I can't wait to see you guys play in high school.
Oh my god, I can't wait.
We're coming back, so get ready for that. But thank you guys, and hope to see you soon.
Bye.
Goodbye. Go Mavericks!
Go Mavericks! Woo!
I just gotta say, the Palos Verdes Mavericks is by far the best youth sports organization in the universe. From the coaches to the front office, the parents, and most of all, the players. What an organization, what a team, what a season. Good shit, Mavs.
Number 1, Spencer Horton, prime time. Number 2, Nico Adorich. Number 3, Dre Johnson, Frozone. Number 4, Sebastian Winkler, Seabass. Number 5, Stephen Manji. Number 6, Devin Jones, the Assassin. Number 10, Martin Johnson, NASCAR. Number 11, Jackson Hughes, action. Number 13, Matthew Dragic, the doctor. Number 15, Matthew Walker, Mufasa. Number 20, Joseph Hennell. Number 21, Jeremy Bowes, the Boz. Number 22, Kenny McCreary, the Hitman. Number 32, Valentin Bueno, El Presidente. Number 42, Aiden Hodge, Manchild. Number 44, Sean Cosgrove. Number 45, Brandon Hama, Dolly Hama. Number 56, Anthony Castaleo, Big Papa. Number 66, Niji Williams, Bone Collector. Number 75, James Withers, Big Game. Number 80, Parker King, the King. Number 88, Derek Bob. Over the past 3 years, the group of kids graduating the Pop Warner program have gone 23-1-4 in division play, winning 2 SEC championships. It was a magical run, supported by a selfless team of folks along the way. We want to extend a special thanks to the folks that made it possible.
Here's our equipment guy taking the bag to the shed. This is the only time it happened all season. We got 1 game left. Here it is, right here.
We